I just want to live in a country, Terp. I want to live in a country where the slow drivers stay out of the far left lane. That's all I want in my life. That is pretty much all I want. Okay?
You have a tough commute this morning?
I had a tough commute this morning. I just don't understand when you're on a 10-lane highway, which is what I have to take in here, 10 lanes, and the guy going 5 miles under the speed limit thinks the safest and best place to be is on the far left. That's where the rest of us are trying to get around you. My name is Brandon Walker. You're watching more Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. Glad to be here. Yeah, that's how my day's going. But I had a decent commute. I would say Thursdays are always the worst days. Thursdays are always terrible because there's more trucks on the road. I don't know why. I don't know why Thursdays are so bad. Mondays are the best days. Thursdays are the worst days. But today was pretty good. I got here in about 50 minutes. So that's not bad.
It's a long commute.
It's a long commute. It's 41 miles. But usually,
gosh.
On Thursdays, usually it takes about an hour and 15 minutes. So I did pretty good today. Hello. I'm Brandon Walker. More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. We are going to talk about recruiting today. We're going to talk about Mississippi State recruiting. Talk about Joe Moorhead, how it's different today, how it's different from the old staff, and how it's different from what Dan Mullen used to do. Mississippi State is, out there on the recruiting trail trying to get it done. Who we got to talk recruiting? Of course, we've got Steve Robertson coming up at the top of the hour. We'll talk to him.
I have a question.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
When are we starting the podcast today? What time?
In about, we're going to start it right at 50.
50? Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Is that all right?
Can we do 55?
Why 55?
I have to go do stuff out there.
Okay. Here's the thing. You yourself wanted to get off early because there's going to be Mexican food at 12:30. We can't get to the Mexican food if you're stalling and stuff at 55.
That's why I said never mind.
What do you need to go do?
I have to go get something ready for the thing tonight because someone's about to leave or else I have to bring it. I don't want to do that. It's fine.
Can you make it back at 53?
I'll do it after the interview. Just go. Just continue.
Hail State from Moorville, Mississippi, if I'm not still blocked. Has anybody blocked Kathy Mixon-Lee? I don't think anybody blocked her on purpose.
No.
I don't
I haven't
remember.
blocked anyone yet.
I don't
I
remember.
can, though.
I blocked plenty of people, but not
Yeah.
Kathy Mixon-Lee. Oh, I'll block somebody. Yeah, in a heartbeat. I'll go back after the show and block them. But I don't think I've ever blocked her. Hail State from Dallas, Carolyn Crane Lindley. Glenn Duncan checking in from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Good to have everybody. We'll also talk about the NIT. Mississippi State wins. Lamar Peters with 15 assists. Not going to make a Peters joke. I know you think I am. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. Boy, when Peters does well, I start tweeting things and say, nope, you'll probably get fired for that. So I probably saved about 7 or 8 jokes on Twitter yesterday. I tweet hot fire anyway. Hail State from Tallahassee, Thomas Loftus. Hail State from Nebraska, Timothy Giles. Kingsport, Tennessee, Richard Reif. Hail State from Stark Vegas, Arnaldo Camarena. How the heck can you get blocked on here? Well, you can say things I don't like. That's very easy. Hail State from Georgia. Hail State from Yazoo City. Hail State from West Virginia, Jessica Elm Balsley. Cindy Petty Johnson says go Dogs in Starkville. Hail State from Shibuya. How does Peters have 15 assists but doesn't score? Yeah. See, okay, it's great that he had 15 assists. I love it. He played good. He played very good. He's probably our MVP without scoring. That's incredible. I thought at times he was trying to get assists more than he was trying to really help the team. Like there was a couple where he had a wide open layup, but he handed it off instead so he could get an assist. Not a big deal. That's good. That's great. But I feel like if he could have scored, 8 and had 11 assists and been just as effective. Hail State from Benton, New York is here. Tim Lee. Hail State from Nashville, Cody. Well, Cody's here. Cody Mell. Cody Mell. I like that name. Cody Mell. You always like when I stop at a last name, don't you? And I have no idea what to do.
I would say Mel.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Why is it that we have guards that drive the lane only to pass it to a dude? Just finished. People complain about a dude's hands. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I agree with that. He is better when he is creating for his teammates. Well, yeah, no, he was good. Don't get me wrong, but I don't buy that he's better when he's creating for his teammates. I'd like to see him score and create for his teammates. I'm just saying there were several times last night where he passed up an easy shot to create for his teammates when it would have been easier if he just finished. That's all. I'm not complaining. I like this version of Peters better than the early season version, and it's good. But I do think if he is scoring and assisting, it's unstoppable. There's nothing you can do. Laurel today, Stephen Stafford, Hail State from Senatobia. Right before the half, we ended up missing a shot. He gave it off to Adu, and Adu missed a shot. And Peters had a 4-foot jump shot with nobody in front of him. And I felt like he forced a pass there. It's all about good shots. It's all about good shots. Don't force passes just to force them. That's all. Hail State from Una, Traquan Key in Una, Mississippi, Northern Clay County. Una, stand up. This is the first time I've ever had Una. No, you can sit down. I've never had Una in here. I lived 3 years of my life in Una. My folks are from Una. My mom's people, the Crosswhites, are from Una. I'm very excited about this. After a total of 1 assist by the whole team against Tennessee, I bet Howland laid down the law. Boy, that could be true. All right, we're past 50. We're going to talk about recruiting with Steve Robertson. Then we're going to talk about the NIT. Mississippi State beats Nebraska. Then we're going to talk about the third thing on the list. Anybody want to tell me what it is?
I don't remember.
No, you know what? I skipped one. Thank you, Landshark.
Skipped one.
We're going to talk about Steve Robertson. We're going to talk about LSU scheduling Mississippi State for homecoming in 2018.
Ooh.
How stupid is that? First you hire Ed Orgeron, now you got to schedule Mississippi State for homecoming. You morons. And number 3, we're going to talk about the NIT. And then we're going to have a 2-minute drill at the end of the show, tie it all together. Terp, once you get me fired up, why don't you go ahead and call Steve Robertson so we can get this show down the road. I am ready to go. Let's have a show.
The More Cowbell Show, brought to you by SEC Country. And now, your host of the More Cowbell Show, Brandon Walker.
That's me, Brandon Walker, More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. You're not going to mute me. See, I snuck it in on you. You didn't. You thought you were going to mute it, but you didn't. Look at you. Didn't know it was coming the second time, did you? Brandon Walker, More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. Terp's just feeling full of himself because of his haircut over there. He looks ridiculous. All right, Terp is on the phone. He's getting our guest. On today's show, we're going to talk about recruiting. We're going to talk to Steve Robertson, the Mississippi State recruiting expert from 24/7 Sports. We'll talk about recruiting, how it's different under Joe Moorhead than it was under the last staff. Then we'll talk about LSU doing something really, really stupid. And number 3, we'll talk about the NIT. Mississippi State beats Nebraska last night here on the More Cowbell podcast. Let me go ahead and tell you that March Madness is here, and MyBookie is something you need to be aware of. MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Listen, you like to have fun, you like to do brackets, you like to maybe have some fun wagering on the games, getting a little extra cash for the spring coming up, getting a little extra cash for your vacation. MyBookie.ag is the place to go for that. It is a fantastic place to have some fun, to enjoy yourself. And hey, by the way, if you want to use your use Cowbell as your code to enter MyBookie, then you get 50% off your. Let me pull it up. I'm just ruining this. Sorry. We're gonna have to go back. I just ruined the MyBookie read. God bless MyBookie. I love you. Join now and MyBookie will match your deposit up to a 50% bonus. Use the promo code Cowbell to activate your offer. Visit mybookie.ag today. You win, you play, you win, you get paid. Boy, oh boy. Recruiting, Mississippi State. Are we good on that, Terp? Can you make that make sense? You can? Okay. I need you to edit that on the podcast. It's gone here, but I need you to edit it on the podcast. Do whatever you can. Now, recruiting. Steve Robertson is the expert on recruiting, and my God, let me get him in here before I ruin the show any further. Steve, how are you, buddy?
Do I need to do the ad reads for you? I'm doing great.
No, I've heard your show, and if there's anything you can do, it's ad reads. But I only have about 30 minutes for this show, so let's go ahead and dive into this. I did butcher that. That was awful, and I apologize, Steve. Steve Robertson is the recruiting expert for Mississippi State. He knows all, he sees all, he tells all. And I want to talk to you today about Joe Moorhead and his staff in recruiting, Steve. I'll just lay it out. It's a very open question. You answer it however you want to. How is Joe Moorhead and his coaching staff's approach to recruiting different than Dan Mullen and his staffs in the last few years?
Well, I don't know if we've got enough time in the show to really get into great detail about how much different it is, but just to kind of give you some flashpoints. One of the things that I learned very early in the Joe Moorhead tenure is that Joe is a little more of a micromanager. And what I mean by that is Joe kind of sets the schedule for the workday for the assistant coaches. And he sets aside time every single day for those guys to work on recruiting, whether it be sending messages or calling kids or whatever. That's a requirement. Now, when Mullen was here, and this is not to throw shade at Mullen, but Mullen gave his guys a lot more autonomy. You know, you guys do what you want to do, but when you come to that recruiting meeting on Wednesday, you better have your stuff together. Joe doesn't take any chances with that. You know, he goes ahead and schedules that time out. And then one of the things that I would share, too, there's a concerted effort to get the kids on campus a lot more. And that's not to say that we didn't have some people committed before that were working towards that, but the assistant coaches are a big part of that now. And we've had, this past weekend, 13 very quality recruits on campus. Now, this past weekend, it's not a junior day, it's not a practice, it's just a chance to come hang out and bring your parents and tour the school and get to know the coaches better. And I had a conversation, posted with Joe Moorhead on the site, part one yesterday. I asked him about these pictures on social media that have become such a hit of him, kind of getting their cheesing it up, posing with the kids. And I don't think you're going to see Nick Saban do that. I don't think you're going to see Gus Malzahn do that. They'll stand there and smile and be the cardboard cutout. But Joe's showing a lot more personality. And so I asked him about that, and he goes, as coaches, sometimes we take ourselves way too seriously. And I think that in and of itself probably sums up Joe as much as anything, is that he doesn't have these airs about himself and understands you have to work at it. Nobody's going to come to Mississippi State simply because of Joe Moorhead being here. He understands he's got to go sell the brand and sell the opportunity, and I think they're doing a good job of that early on.
What you just said, a more concerted effort to get kids on campus earlier and more often and, kind of canvass the campus with these kids every weekend kind of is a stark contrast to the old approach, which is if we can get them to camp, we can look at them and then maybe offer them. And I think that has cost us, particularly in the last class, it might have cost us a very talented offensive lineman from right up the road who had every reason to go to Mississippi State, but he wasn't really shown the love until he came to camp and proved it in front of these coaches. Do you think that is a thing of the past now?
Well, I do, and I'm not trying to dismiss the importance of the in-camp evaluation, because that is, especially when you have guys who are kind of similarly situated with athleticism and size, and there's guys that you like as much, and you need that to kind of differentiate between the two. But I'll tell you, and to kind of make your point for you, many of the guys that you want to go get to play offensive line in this league, by the time that you offer them, because I'm a firm believer, Brandon, when you go sign a kid, if he doesn't get you closer to Alabama, if he doesn't get you closer to LSU, if he doesn't get you closer to Georgia, then you don't need to sign that kid. So any kid worth his salt is already going to have an offer from Alabama or Georgia or Florida or Tennessee or somebody, and they're not going to come to camp at Mississippi State when they already have those options. They're not going to come camp for an offer. When I've already got the opportunity to play at half a dozen SEC schools, and you want me to come to camp before you offer me, there's almost a little bit of arrogance in that would turn me off if I'm a player. And so I think what's happening now, State's offering kids earlier, and they're getting involved with these kids earlier, and I think they're evaluating them earlier and really not getting quite so lazy where they're just depending on, we'll just coach the kids who show up for camp and offer them from there. And I really think that's shown on the field, to be quite honest.
This is the most underrated time of the year when it comes to recruiting, maybe even the most important time. Fans really pay attention during the season. They really pay attention in the lead up to signing day. But right now is when Moorhead and his staff are really getting in with these kids and really getting momentum headed into the summer so that we can get these kids committed. I think this is the most important time of the year for recruiting, getting them on campus and showing them something they might not have ever seen before. Do you think our coaching staff is handling this time of year as well as they could?
I definitely think so. And I agree with you. I think this is probably perhaps the most underrated part of the recruiting calendar because right now guys are not making a lot of decisions, but they are beginning to form opinions. And so they're making decisions on, hey, do I want to go to camp here? Do I want to go to this junior day? Where do I want to go to games this summer and this fall? And so if they feel like a priority early, because you've heard the old adage, you only get one chance to make a first impression. And I believe the first impression Mississippi State's make is very, very positive. And it's not a matter of we're going to send you a brochure and say, hey, you come in and we'll take a picture and call it a day. Talking to these kids afterwards, I think Paul would agree, there is an exuberance around the program. And when speaking to these kids, it's very, it's contagious. They're coming, they're talking positively about Mississippi State. And I've never known guys that have had bad junior day visits. Okay, that just doesn't happen. It's a new process for them, and kids are kind of wide-eyed. But these guys are coming in talking about coaches. I really like Coach Luke Getzey. He's really funny, tells good jokes, great coach, great stories. Really like Charles Huff. He's the guy that coached Saquon Barkley. He's talking about me and how I compare to him. So it's not just the activities that these kids are taking part of as part of a campus tour. They're getting to know the people of Mississippi State, and I think that has made a difference.
Last question, I'll let you get out of here. People have talked about this in-state class this year, 2019, and we've talked about it, and it's loaded. It is absolutely one of the best classes in a while, but we have talked at length about how Mississippi State's going to do, and we're not going to talk about that today. What I want to know is, how is Mississippi State's current coaching staff doing as far as a job of getting Mississippi State's name to these out-of-state recruits? How are they doing getting these out-of-state recruits excited? Because you just can't do it with in-state. You just can't do it with out-of-state. You got to have a mixture of both.
Yeah, absolutely, Brandon. And that's the thing. As loaded as the in-state class is, it's kind of devoid of some skill position players. There's probably only one running back in the state that you look at, and that's Jerron Ely, where you would think he would be an SEC caliber guy, and I think in the end he's going to be a Major League Baseball draft guy. So you've got to go out and get your running back somewhere. And so State's been very active with Ronald Tompkins, and with John Emery of Louisiana, so you're supplementing there. There's no SEC quarterback in the state of Mississippi for this year, too. You got to go out and get a guy there. KJ Jefferson's probably the only guy in the state of Mississippi that right now that I think has a real chance to play in the SEC, and he's a guy I think State's doing really well with. But you're probably going to be a two-quarterback class, and so you're probably going to have to go out and get another guy, perhaps a Peter Parrish or maybe a Garrett Schrader. Those guys are going to come from out of state. The cornerback position, that's another one. You're not as solid in state as maybe you'd like to be. Loaded at defensive line, got some good quality linebackers, got a couple of offensive linemen. And it is a big class, but you have to go out there and you have to get your name out there. And I think that's where Charles Huff can really be an asset to Mississippi State, is he is a guy that's recruited nationally most of his career. And you've got guys that have recruited some different pockets than the Bulldogs have in the last several years, because I think by and large the recruiting footprint for Mississippi State was pretty much set. It's kind of a in-state and border state type deal. But they're out there beating the bushes and kind of expanding the brand a bit, and I think it's paying some dividends because, in fact, State's in the game with a lot of guys, and I think you're going to see a lot more guys with spring practice opening up make those unofficial visits to State, and ultimately it's going to be a very great in-state class, and I think it's going to be supplemented by some great out-of-state players. And I think fans are going to be really pleased when signing day comes and goes in both December and February.
All right, I lied. I got to add one more question based on what you just said there. You mentioned the two-quarterback class. Obviously, State's going to want to sign a quarterback. It's very important to sign a quarterback every single year. You mentioned two names, Garrett Schrader from North Carolina, Peter Parrish from somewhere else. Tell me about those two guys. I mean, what excites Mississippi State about them, and how realistic is it that we could be talking about one of those on signing day?
Well, Garrett Schrader's the guy that that Joe Moorhead had recruited when he was at Penn State. And the competition for him at South Carolina, that's really the school that I'm watching right now. Felt pretty early on that State was the team to beat. Schrader's taken several unofficial visits. I understand he had a great time at South Carolina. Of course, they've got Bentley there, but he'll be moving on here in a couple of years. And so looking at the depth chart, it's an opportunity for him to go in and play. It's closer to home. That's the school I'm worried about with him. Peter Parrish is from Phoenix City, Alabama. Same place as Jamal Couch. And he's another one of those athletic guys. Maybe doesn't have quite the size of Garrett Schrader, but I think that he's the guy that can come in and potentially be a starter for you. He came to camp last year, did a great job. And I'll be honest with you, if State could get Peter Parrish and KJ Jefferson, I would laugh all the way, to the season, because I think if you could get two guys of that caliber, if you get any combination of Jefferson, Garrett Schrader, and Peter Parrish, I think you've done exceptionally well. And I think Mississippi State fans would realize what an embarrassment of riches you have at the quarterback position when you think about what's already on campus and then what you have coming in.
Fantastic stuff, Steve. I really appreciate you. You came. I asked you on late notice today. I only asked you about an hour ago to be on the show. But since you love Mississippi State fans, you love talking about Mississippi State recruiting, you showed up. I appreciate it, Steve.
And I love you, Brandon.
Oh, and I love you too, Steve. Let's just get it out there, all right? And we can let's go ahead and write a book about that, all right? Did you mute me while I was telling him that? Don't mute me ever again. All right, Steve. Listen. Hey, I appreciate it, man.
Take care, bud.
All right. So that is Steve Robertson. And he and I apparently are in love with each other. I did not know that until just now. But, it is what it is. Listen, you write a book about Ole Miss, I'm going to love the hell out of you. That's just how it is. If you spend your professional life becoming an enemy of Ole Miss, you have got my devotion. You have something to say?
Yeah, I was going to say I didn't mute you. I just lowered your audio because you were screaming.
Was I screaming?
Yeah. You weren't muted.
Well, I was very excited. It's not every day that some another man, a grown man, tells you he loves you. So I was very excited. Here's something I find very amusing. LSU announced, I think Ross Dellinger, their fantastic beat writer. I think he's the best beat writer in the SEC. Oh, where did he go to school? Mississippi State. Ross Dellinger reported today that LSU has made Mississippi State its homecoming game this year. LSU hosting Mississippi State for homecoming. That is a poorly thought out plan. That's a poor idea. That whoever thought of that should have gone back to the drawing board. I'm not sure about this one. And there are years in the past where LSU could host, and a lot of years where LSU could host Mississippi State for homecoming and feel really good. Hey, we're going to have our queen out there. We're going to beat Mississippi State by 30. Everybody's going to be happy and get drunk, and we're going to have corn dogs. Yay! It's going to be a big party. LSU's going to get smashed this year. LSU on its homecoming is going to get smashed by Mississippi State. Mississippi State is a better team with a better coach, with a better quarterback, with better running backs, with better players, with better fans, with better-looking podcast hosts. That's what Mississippi State is this year against LSU. The Ed Orgeron era in year 2 is about to go. The Mississippi State program under Joe Moorhead is going to be very, very good in 2018. And we're going to walk into Baton Rouge and beat the hell out of LSU. I have never in my life, I'm 38 years old, I've never said that with confidence. I've never thought we're going to go into Tiger Stadium and win. When we won in 2014, I didn't think we were going to win. I didn't know we were going to win. After beating them 37-7 last year and watching Ed Orgeron not know what to do as a head coach, and still he's going to be back again. And then he got rid of his very competent offensive coordinator and hired one of his buddies. They're going to be worse. We're going to be better. And they decide to make it homecoming. That is hilarious to me. That is hilarious. I feel bad for LSU fans because it's a top 10 program in the country. I don't think there's any doubt about that. It's a great fan base, a passionate fan base, and they're stuck under the worst D1 college football coach in America. And I have no idea why LSU gave that guy that job. And I'm just going to enjoy it the next year or two while he's still there. Mississippi State in the NIT. Mississippi State beats Nebraska. Mississippi State moves on to play Baylor Sunday at 11 a.m. That's just a weird time. But Mississippi State moves on to the second round. Lamar Peters was fantastic. 15 assists, 0 points. In the history of basketball, has there ever been an MVP of a team in a game with 0 points? I'm sure it's happened before, but wow, 15 assists. Now, I do think he was kind of assist padding a little bit. But that's still better than jacking up, ill-advised threes. There were a couple times where he had a wide-open layup where he passed it off instead, so it showed up as an assist instead of points. I'd like to see him in that 10-point, 10-assist range myself. He's in there, and Mississippi State it gets really, really good. But we go to Baylor. Baylor's now 19-14. They won last night. It's weird in the NIT because these guys have been together since November. They're playing hard every other day, every couple of days, practicing every day. They've played now 33, 34, 35 games. And as you go further along in the NIT, when you realize you're not really playing for a real championship, you're not playing for the NCAA tournament championship, and you realize it might not matter all that much. So guys are going to stop playing as hard. Guys are going to kind of get a little bored. I don't think we're going to have that problem because we're young. We're building to something. This is not the end for us. This is the beginning. So I think we could be on the cusp of a nice little run in the NIT here. Keyshawn Fizell, I thought, played really well last night. I thought a couple of guys played well. Abdullah Adu just doesn't finish as much as he needs to. His hands could be better, but he was pretty good last night. Eric Holman was pretty good last night. But we did what we had to do. We did what we had to do. Not a dynamic game, not a game where we won by 30, but still we advanced past Nebraska, a pretty good team, and I'm anxious to see what we do against Baylor. Every game we win is gravy. Every game we win is building towards next year. 2-minute drill. Let's go ahead and do this and get out of here. Number 1, which song should replace Don't Stop Believin' for Mississippi State at the end of the third quarter? Which song would you replace Don't Stop Believin' with? Now, I'm not 100% sure we should replace it. It's a Mullen thing, so I could be talked into it. I could be talked out of it. I gotta say, I love the irony of September 29th, us being up 3 touchdowns on Florida going into the fourth quarter and playing Don't Stop Believin' and Dan Mullen having to listen to it. But, if you were picking, which song would you choose to replace Don't Stop Believin'? Jay Hammer says The Game by Moorhead. That's more like a pregame song, isn't it? I mean, that really gets you fired up. I don't know if that's a fourth quarter song. I mean, that'll get you going. It's Triple H's theme music. Walk on Water, 30 Seconds to Mars. Rollin', Rollin', Rollin'. I think that's what, Limp Bizkit? Crazy Train. Don't Fear the Reaper. TNT by AC/DC. Don't Fear the Reaper would fit in with the More Cowbell theme, but it doesn't really get you going. It's
slow.
It's too slow. We Are the Champions by Queen. King of Kings by Motorhead. Well, a lot of Motorhead fans here. A lot of Motorhead fans. Learn to Fly by the Foo Fighters. Johnny Cash, Cut You Down. Not country. We don't want country music. That's a great walk-up music for a closer, but I don't think it's a fourth quarter song. Welcome to the Jungle. Terp told me Bop by Hanson. He told me that in the hall.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Number 4. Number 2. I don't know what number we are. Danger
How did
Zone.
you just go from 1 to 4?
I have no idea. Somebody said
Wow.
Danger Zone. I like that. Pick one player you're most excited to follow for spring football. Mississippi State spring football starting March 20th, which is a couple days from now. What is today, the 15th?
Yes.
So 5 days from now, Mississippi State starts spring football. Who's the one player you're excited to follow? It could be one of the early enrollees, like a Devontae Jason. It could be like a Marcus Murphy. It could be Keaton Thompson, who's going to get a lot of reps as the quarterback. I don't think he'll be starting quarterback this year, but he could get a lot of reps in the spring and really get into this offense. That's exciting to me. Who's the one player you want to follow here? Kylan Hill, says Jay Hammers. Great answer. Great answer by Jay Hammers. Jeremiah Body also says Kylan Hill. Nick Fitzgerald says Jessica Bosley. Yeah, we got to monitor how far he comes along. I don't think he'll be running the offense with a read option this spring, but I bet he'll be throwing the ball on the side. I bet he'll be learning this offense. Kylan Hill, Nick Fitzgerald. Whoa, Townsend's going to steal mine. And I'll just go ahead and say Marcus Murphy is mine. Point City. All right. I love it because, 1 Point City is about to graduate next year. Now we bring in the next one, Point City. That's what we do. We're a football factory in West Point, as you can tell how great of a football player I was. So Marcus Murphy is my guy. Where are we going to play him? We got him in the spring. We can get him ready. I think we're going to start him at cornerback. And wherever we start him, I think that's where he's going to stick because he's just a great athlete. Somebody says Stephen Guidry. Don't think he's here in the spring, is he? I don't think Guidry's there. I probably should know that. Number 3, what is the best movie with a one-word title? I did this on Twitter yesterday. What's the best movie with a one-word title? My 5 that I came up with.
Step Brothers. There's a hyphen, I think, but still one word.
My 5 were Creed.
Creed's good.
Tombstone.
I've never seen it.
Airplane.
Terrible.
Caddyshack.
Terrible also.
And Anchorman. That was my
I like
fifth
Anchorman.
one. Creed's fantastic. I know I talk about it all the time, but I watch Creed once a week now. I just love it so much. And it's crazy. I never got into the Rocky movie. Rocky's a good answer. Rocky, Shrek, Dune, Shrek, Tombstone. Shrek was a good movie. I know. I'm Up, Jaws, Life. I love this question so much. Airplane, Godfather. It's called The Godfather, though, right? It's not just called Godfather. You're cheating a little bit. I see what you're doing. Ghost, Airplane, Tombstone, Step Brothers. Again, I'm not sure I'm counting Step Brothers. I'm not sure I'm counting it. Again, it's called The Waterboy, not just Waterboy. Anchorman, Batman. There's a good one. Up. Up is great for the first 10 minutes. Unbelievable movie for the first 10 minutes. Oh, man, it gets you going. It gets you, you just want to cry. And then it's a 10-minute movie that lasts an hour and a half. Hook, Up. I said Hook Up. Casablanca. Okay, now that's cheating. You're using real classic movie. Number 4, what's your favorite SEC city? What's your favorite city in the SEC? Terp, what's your favorite city in the SEC? I think it's pretty easy.
Gainesville.
First of all, I said city. All right, not some little raggedy town that throws up some decorations and says, "Oh, we're the greatest place in the world," and nobody believes it. Okay, and just because you get Oxford Farter magazine and says, "Oh, Oxford's great," doesn't mean it's true. Now, Nashville,
College Station.
Athens. You don't like Athens?
Well, I'm biased because every time I'm there, I'm working. I don't really get to
Athens
enjoy
is amazing. I think it's Athens and Nashville. I mean, that's the two. Gainesville's the strip mall of SEC. Gainesville's like the Walmart of SEC towns. And I should have said outside of Starkville, so please don't say Starkville. And there we go, Starkville. The part of the question was outside of Starkville, and I forgot to read it. Sorry. Baton Rouge, Fayetteville, Chattanooga.
Chattanooga, what was that?
I'm dealing with this. Yeah, I don't think Chattanooga's gonna make it. College Station. I've never been to College Station, so I can't speak to it. I've been to Athens, I've been to Nashville, I've been to Gainesville, I've been to Knoxville. Knoxville ain't bad. Wayman Hodge says, "You're really on today, Brandon." I'm never off, Wayman. Number 5. You know, this is the second day in a row we've just had a weird question to end this show. And this might be the weirdest. If the zombie apocalypse starts tomorrow, which store would you most want to hole up in to ride out the zombie apocalypse? Now think about this.
Easy.
Easy? Well, hold on. I know what most of you are going to say. You're going to say a Walmart or Sam's Club or Costco, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big space. You're gonna have to defend that big space against other people coming in.
Yeah, board up the walls.
It's a gigantic board up the walls. How long would it take you to board up the walls of a Costco?
Well, you have to get more specific. Like I don't know how much time I had to prepare.
You got it. You see zombies out there.
And I have to run. Well,
you have to run into a Costco or a Walmart and board up.
Yeah.
Let's see what everybody said. Ollie's, Academy. Walmart, Krispy Kreme, says John Stringer. Actually says Krispy Kreme, which I'm not aware of her. West Point Gun and Pong, I think it's called Gary's. Target, Kroger, Dollar General, Best Buy. Well, she's going out happy. A Christian bookstore, Rebel Rags. Even zombies don't want that garbage. That's kind of brilliant.
What was the answer?
Somebody said Rebel Rags. Because even zombies don't want that garbage they sell. Oh. Spencer's Gifts. Reed Burrell says My House. The answer is the Bass Pro Shop. It's Bass Pro Shop.
No food. I thought that too, but there's no food.
They have restaurants in Bass Pro Shop.
No, they don't.
They have restaurants in Bass Pro Shop. No, they have restaurants in Bass Pro Shop.
What?
Yes.
Well, do you think they would be operating? If they're in the middle of no, they wouldn't be operating. I'm saying Walmart has like canned goods. They have Everything.
Yeah, you got canned goods, but
It'll last you'll be able to eat for like a day.
you got canned goods, but how are you going to cook it?
You don't need to. Just eat them out of the can.
What do you mean you don't? I got food for a day. I'm in the Bass Pro Shop. They got tanks with fish in them. I'm going to be eating fish all the time.
And cooking it with what?
The little grills they got in there.
You know, they don't have propane.
They have everything. They have everything at Bass Pro Shops.
I thought of that, but I don't think they have the sufficient food supplies.
They have live fish in the Bass Pro Shop. See, I'm eating live fish, and it's sustainable. I let them mate and make more fish.
And is that not also a big store? How are you going to cover all?
Yeah,
of
it's a
that?
big store, but I got plenty of ammo. But I got plenty of everything. Plenty of everything.
So, I had the same things in Walmart.
Woe Townsend says the Playboy Mansion. I don't think that's a store. That's not somewhere you can go in and purchase something. If it is, I did get a new debit card yesterday. I'm just kidding. Wife, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You know I'm kidding. All right.
So you got URI or Oklahoma?
URI.
They're
Yeah.
losing.
Yeah.
They're losing.
Are they? It's already started?
Oh yeah, 12-15. That's why I showed you tip off.
Dang it. Yeah, but what?
Although Oklahoma just airballed free throws, so
Well,
good sign for
that takes
URI.
away 2 points. Can I end the podcast? You mind?
Sure.
Because the Mexican food's out
I'm
there.
allowing you.
All right. We'll be back on Monday to talk Mississippi State and whatever. Oh, boy. Prayers up for the baseball team playing Vanderbilt this weekend. It's rough. It's rough out there. Mississippi State, look at all these people walking around with Mexican food. Mississippi State. What am I talking about? I'm ending the podcast. My name's Brandon Walker. You've been listening to More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. Sorry. We just ended the podcast. Well, the Facebook Live people are still there.
Yeah, so I was kind of confused.
Okay. My bad. Look at all these people. Look at all these people. Hey! Unbelievable.
I'm going to go get some food, I
Look,
think.
that guy doesn't even work here.
Is that the
Look
line?
at this line.
Is that the line? Wow, I guess I'm not getting any food today. This is great TV.
Unbelievable. Look at this.
Wow. And the setup's not even, it's like halfway down the hall.
I don't even know who this guy is.
We're not getting any food.
That guy hadn't been here all week. We're not getting any food. All right. I'm gonna focus. I'm gonna focus because I'm a professional. All right. Steve Robertson is the best guest you have on your show. He's the most informed beat writer on the MSU circuit, says Danny E. Pinter. Yeah, Steve's good. I like having Steve on here. I love having Steve on here. Steve brings it every time he's on the show. That man wants his Mexican. Laugh out loud, Brandon. Yeah, Pamela, I do. If you have to play every sport with the same type of ball, which ball would you pick?
That is a phenomenal question.
That is an amazing question.
Wow.
All right. Why don't you listen to what I'm saying, and then you would know the question? If you could play every type of sport, well, it would have to be a small ball because you wouldn't be able to play golf with anything that wouldn't fit in the hole. But you wouldn't be able to bowl with a golf ball.
No. But I'm thinking like major sports.
Major
like
sports.
Baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer.
I don't think hockey comes into play here.
It's a big four.
This is unbelievable. Right?
Yep.
I'm so mad. I'm furious right now. What's your take on Nick Fitzgerald getting injured being a blessing in disguise because of him having to focus on passing more in the offseason than adding the runs, says Adrian D. Brown? I don't think that. I don't think so. Because I think coming in, the focus is going to be on implementing the offense. And the new coaching staff would be able to focus on the arm and what they need to focus on. I don't think him only being able to throw this spring.
You can just say, Mark. Oh, I'm still up. I think I was up. What's up, guys?
This has been the worst show. I don't think Nick being injured is a blessing in disguise. I don't think it's the end of the world. I think we're going to get through it, but I definitely would rather have a healthy Nick Fitzgerald this spring than not. A soccer ball? Yeah, soccer ball. All right, but could you play baseball with a soccer ball?
Could.
You can play football with anything.
Play kickball.
You can play football with anything, really. A Nerf ball. Vandy is struggling in baseball too, Brandon, says Drew Newell. Yeah, are they struggling like we are? Are they going up 5-1 in the first inning and losing 11-5 to Southeast Louisiana? Because that's rough. If you could have one guaranteed win of 2018 that wasn't Alabama or Ole Miss, who would you choose? Yeah, my instinct is obviously to say Florida. I kind of want to think Kansas State because I just don't think we can afford to lose that game. But Florida has to be the answer. A mini soccer ball, they're a little bigger than a softball. Somebody says a softball. A dodgeball. I don't know. Like, did they go out in the parking lot and say, hey, Mexican food in here? Because they announced on my email that I got, it said, hey, free fajita bar at 12:30. What time is it, Terp?
12:26.
And everybody that's ever been in Atlanta, Georgia is standing out there right now.
That is the longest line I've ever seen. We're not getting food.
We're not getting food.
No.
You know what? I'm going to Cox.
I'm gonna
go
get
to
lunch
Cox.
somewhere inexpensive.
No, I'm going to Cox.
Free lunch.
That's what I'm doing. I'm going to Cox. I'm going to go eat Cox. That's what I'm doing. And you can't stop me.
You love that.
You can't. No, I love going to eat Cox. I love it.
Yeah.
It's delicious over there. It's great. It's a great cafeteria. Brandon, focus. Sorry, Jay. Sorry. I got these two idiots over here, and they're hard to focus. I mean, they always take away from me.
Yeah.
And then I got look at this guy.
Should I put the shutters down? Will that help you?
Do we have shutters? Do we have windows? No, I don't want them. Why is there no show on Fridays? Because my day off is Friday. Your take on Holman not starting? It's not about starting. It's about playing minutes, and Holman played plenty of minutes. So look at that guy's got 2 plates. That guy's got 2 plates. He's got 2 plates. All right. Land Shark, you about ready to get out of here? You all right? You about ready to get out of here? Oh, wow. Look at that. We got remote control curtains. Turk closed the curtains so I couldn't see the line. Now, how much did that cost? Don't let him talk to you like that, Terp. I wasn't. Me and Terp are cool.
What'd I miss?
He said, "Don't let him talk about you like that, Terp." But
what? Like
when I called y'all idiots, I was just playing.
No, I know I'm smart.
We're boys, right? We're cool. Yeah.
Speaking of boys, where's Fred Harley been? It's my guy.
I hadn't seen Fred Harley in a while.
Oh.
Fred Harley hadn't been here. I hadn't seen Jess Hardy in a while. I saw Jess Hardy show up. Signing off. Brandon is gone. No, he closed the curtain. I can't see him anymore. I'm fine.
Yeah, no, you're not distracted anymore.
I'm not distracted. You need to wear horse blinders. That's not nice. Is that nice?
Essentially what that is.
Yeah. What did you say you were going to eat? I'm going to go to the Cox cafeteria and eat over there. Why? What? What's his problem? Mark West is here. Hey, Mark. Good to have you. All my regulars are here. Most of my regulars are here. How's Caesar? Good question. I know he had surgery again about last Friday, and he's waiting to have final plastic surgery on his face. I think he is, he's doing his rehab to walk again and to get all motor skills ready. I mean, it appears he's going to make a full recovery. It's just a matter of time. And hopefully by football season or maybe even after that, we'll be able to have Caesar walk onto this set and, be on the show again. Ryan Campbell says, your wife isn't worried about you at the Playboy Mansion. # you married up. I don't think I married up. I mean, I'm clearly a good-looking guy, a handsome guy with a lot of money. My 2005 Buick Rendezvous in the parking lot that was smoking when I got to the parking lot today. I got a nice car. Yeah, I think I'm okay. Yes, she is much more attractive than I am. Yes, and I'm very proud of that fact. I think he was referring. Oh, okay, I see. You and Bob on the show would be podcast gold. Bob Carskadden. I'll have to get Bob on the show. I know people want to get Bob on the show. I don't know why people want to get Bob on the show because, he doesn't say anything on his show. What makes you think he's going to say anything on my show? So, we'll see. Is Trae Young the most overrated player this year? Thomas Loftus. Trae Young is so overrated. so ridiculously overrated. Yes, he is one of the most overrated players this year. Who's everybody got in this thing? Who's everybody got to win the championship? I went back in my money bracket. I feel really dirty with who I have winning it. I don't like the
They're
fact.
not going to win it.
Well, you don't know that.
I know. Virginia's going to win it.
You think Virginia's going to win it? But Virginia chokes every year.
Not this year.
They choke every year.
Same
And you
year.
don't think they're going to choke this year?
No, Tony Bennett's got them under control.
Who do you guys think's going to win this thing? Who do you think's going to win it? That'll be the last thing we talk about today. I think I got Duke winning it.
Puke on Duke.
I don't like it. I hate Duke. But everybody is ignoring it. You know what everybody's picking in that bracket? Everybody's picking Michigan State. Everybody's picking the 3. Everybody's picking Michigan State, which means it's not going to happen. Look at that. Michigan State. That means if you're picking a 3, you're overlooking the 1 and the 2 in that region. And the 2 is Duke, and they're always in the mix.
Or not, they got out early last year.
But they're most of the time in the mix.
So not always.
Not always. No, you're right. If you make that noise again, I swear to God, all right? Do not make that noise
It's my
again.
new thing when I'm correct.
Don't, make it your old thing, okay? It needs to be your old thing.
So, I smell the fajitas in here.
Do you smell the fajitas? I don't
It's
smell
going
them.
through the air vents.
I filled out my bracket with the purpose of Kansas not winning it, and I picked Kansas. Wo Townsend has Purdue. 3 people have Purdue? Wow.
We're in the Final Four.
I don't.
Actually, no.
I did a fantasy draft where we were drafted 8 teams, and I had the 8th pick, so I had to pick Purdue, and I feel awful about it. I don't like picking a team with that many white players. It makes me uncomfortable. And then I picked Duke. God, what is wrong with me?
Yeah, Marvin Bagley. He's nice.
He's good.
He's
good.
nice.
They're the most talented team in the country, but they don't always play like it.
Arizona's pretty talented.
Arizona's got one guy who's the best player in the
pretty
country.
talented.
He's the best player in the country. I think Kentucky and Tennessee can do some damage. Last point, and I'll get out of here.
Kentucky's losing to Davidson in the first round.
Last point, and I'll get out of here. The SEC has 8 teams in, but I think the SEC got a bunch of crappy draws. Kentucky's going out in the second round to Arizona. I think Tennessee's going out in the second round to Miami. Tennessee is the team that could go deep. The team I like the most to go deep in the SEC is Arkansas, winning the first round and then beating Purdue. I like Arkansas to make the Sweet 16 or Elite 8, but outside of that, I think Auburn's going out early. I think Alabama's getting beat first round. Missouri's getting beat first round. Texas A&M's getting beat first round. Why? Because Missouri and Texas A&M aren't any good. And they're not as good as Mississippi State, who's playing in the NIT. And they're going to get beat and embarrassed in the NCAA tournament. And yay, we got 8 in, but not 8 are going to be good representatives. There. I've said what I have to say. I've said my piece. I'm going to go out there, and I'm breaking in that line. I'm Brandon Walker. I'm 6'5", 285 pounds. People love me, and I'm walking to the front of that line and getting me some fajitas. I don't care what they say. That's been More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. I'm finished.